We 2 years ago passed the temporary penny. Okay,
right.
My big issue with you and every other lawmaker that sits in that chair and everyone I talk on the phone, it's been 2 years. We knew this was coming. We passed it temporarily, but it looks like we haven't done anything to correct the problem. Why?
Well, first of all, you have odd-numbered years that you deal with these kind of matters. 2016, we came into office. We had to just cobble together something to fix the 2015-16 problem, and then to kind of forecast, without having real numbers, how to do this year's budget, and it worked. Okay, the problem that we ran into is that we all agreed we'll vote for this temporary sales tax because in 2017 it's going to be top to bottom Trump type reform. And so you set up this commission of Republicans and Democrats, and when they came back and said, hey, as economists, the people at the bottom don't pay anything and they can't pay, but the people at the top that make over $200 or $300 million a year, they don't pay anything either. So you got to pick which one you're going to do. And that didn't sit well with a lot of the people that had hoped they'd come back and say we have a spending problem. So then they just started attacking this blue ribbon committee and say, oh, it's the wrong people.
This was Dr. Richardson, correct?
I mean, this guy, if you had any kind of economic problem in your business, this is a guy you would call.
So do you keep the penny tax on for another 2 years?
I mean, the problem.
If you had to vote today.
No, I drafted a bill last year to drop the state sales tax from 5 cents to 3 cents.
What about tops? I know you voted to change tops and make adjustments before. Would you do it again? And if so, to the governor's extent, 80% cuts to tops?
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone in leadership plans on cutting tops. I mean, we've made that promise to our children. We've made those that has been the carrot that has got many kids from a C average to an A, to go from their ACT from a 25 to a 28 or a 30. So that will be funded. The governor hasn't cut tops. Those were the discretionary items that he was allowed to cut the $994 million out of. So, it's like if you go home to your home budget, if you have a bad month, you have to pay your homeowner's insurance, your house note, your car insurance, and your car note, or they'll come pick it up or repo it.
Right.
But, your yacht note, you need to let that go. And so the things that aren't dedicated, because the citizens have voted on a lot of these dedications way ahead of time. And what a dedication says is when you get into a hard time, you can't cut this thing.
Well, why didn't we undedicate it some of these during the last 2 years? Why didn't we take steps to do some of that?
I love this question because I sat through probably 8 days of testimony on statutory and constitutional dedications, and everybody would come up. You'd have to come from the hotel motel tax in Shreveport, say, why do you need this dedication? And the guy would sit down and say, well, when we passed this tax on our citizens, you told us it would be there, and we bonded that money to build a hotel or to fix a road or to do whatever we needed to do. So if you undedicate this money, we don't know what we're going to do because our bondholder is going to sue the state.
Right.
So a lot of the statutory dedications are bonded money, which is why we dedicated it.
Let me ask you this. The governor sent an email out. I don't know if it went to all lawmakers or just select, saying that he wanted a revenue neutral plan, wanted to get rid of the penny tax. And then some of the items he had in this email, and I'm going to read you the bottom of it, because I don't know if you got this or not. Expand the sales tax base to include services such as debt collection, insurance services, data processing, information services, cable and satellite services, repairs to real property. To me, that looks like you're going to take away the penny sales tax, but you're going to add taxes or fees.
Right.
And all these things are things that I use.
Right. And so this is, when everyone ran for office, we said we're going to look at dedications and exemptions. Okay. The problem with our sales tax is so many things are exempted that other states collect sales tax on, that when we look at the sales, now these aren't dedicated funds. That's a totally different animal. Like the first part of your paycheck you dedicate to your house note.
Right.
Okay, or your tithe to the church, whatever school you go to, Well, exemptions are different. Like if you had a lobbyist to go down there and 20 years ago and lobby for an exemption on sweet potatoes.
Guess what? Sweet potatoes are sales tax free.
They're exempt. So at Walmart, when you buy everything, the sweet potato has a special code that says no sales tax. You see, so that is the problem. So I think, and what my research showed when I wanted to drop the sales tax from a 5 to 3 was that if you did, like Trump and like John Kennedy have said, make it a fair flat tax, flatten it out, which means the stuff that's exempted or the people that are exempted start to pitch in their fair share at the top and at the bottom, because everybody in the middle pays.
Right. You bet.
Okay, but I mean, everybody in the middle pays. And so where I get upset is when we go to those people at the bottom or the top and say it's time for you to pay. Well, they say, well, you just raised my taxes. And I'm like, no, I'm working on exemptions. I'm lowering the rate.
Yeah.
You see, so our problem in Louisiana is not so much statutory dedications. Most of those you and I would agree on if we read all 200 of them. Where we have the big problem is who's exempted. Sales tax is a big thing where we have exemptions. But I'll tell you, Erin, the biggest exemption I've found that really hurt us as far as roads and bridges, and this is a big one, as $1 billion. It was the severance tax exemption that we gave horizontal drillers in the Haynesville Shale. I asked the legislative auditor what that number was, and over the time period of the boom of the Haynesville Shale, where every other state was collecting severance taxes for shale plays,
We weren't.
Jindal gave a 100% exemption. And let me tell you how that hurts us. If the three of us had some wells up in Oil City, and they were called stripper wells, don't want to offend anybody, and we pulled out a couple of barrels a day of oil. Well, we have to turn in a severance tax for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to pay that. Well, somehow these guys lobbied and said, hey, we're not going to drill in the shale unless you give us a severance tax exemption. Now, listen, when I bring that topic up, that it was $1.14 billion, you know what the roads would look like on I-20 right now?
Oh, yeah.
If Caddo Parish would have gotten that money back.
Smooth like Texas, maybe.
Well, Texas, you see, didn't do that. So we have the problem with dedications. All right, we've researched that. That dog doesn't hunt. That's a red herring. Okay, the real issue that everybody's afraid to talk about, and where the big lobbyists are pouring their money into right now, so we don't talk about it, is their exemptions.